Hello, and welcome back. Another week, another segment, another episode of the delicious Better Than Ice Cream. Guys, how are you all doing? Amazing to have you all with me again this week as we tune in to another exciting episode. I am Bashira, your host. I am from London, UK, England, coming to you live and direct from the UK. I am a singer, a songwriter, an actor, also a vocal and a voice coach and a producer. But today, as always, week to week, I am here as your host to basically, entice you, bring you into the amazing happenings that have been happening week to week with our amazing cast in Better Than Ice Cream. It's an amazing love audio drama series written and produced by the amazing Diana Copeland and directed by Julia Sadinsky. It's also the first radio theatre production for Clubhouse TV network. So it's quite special in its whole rollout, this production, and I'm really honoured to be the face and the voice for Better Than Ice Cream. And it's been amazing having you guys, the audience, week to week with me, going through what is actually happening in the lives of our main characters, Janie and Lance. So let's do a little recap about what happened last week. So if you recall, Janie and Lance actually bumped into each other at a restaurant where Janie was with Derek and where Lance was with Stacey. Now, Stacey's pregnant. So there's this awkward kind of interchange between both Lance and Janie, who are not expecting to see each other. But we know, don't we, that behind the scenes, sly little Stacey and also devious Derek have actually been in cahoots, in conversation behind the backs of both Lance and Janie, who are completely unaware that these two ex-partners, who are now their present partners, are actually in dialogue and discussion about how to ensure that Janie and Lance do not actually connect. So everything that we've seen up to this point has really been something that's been put together and instigated at the hands primarily of Stacey, but Derek has also been helping her because they both want their ex-partners back. So guys, week to week, we're seeing how this is rolling out. Can you imagine what's going to happen this week? Because obviously how we ended last week, we had Janie very adamantly now making her mind up that she was going to marry Derek. Now, we know, guys, don't that this is actually a rebound. This is coming off of the back of what Janie's witnessing between Lance and Stacey. She's thinking that these guys are in love, that, they're happy, they're about to have a baby, and it's, ultimately what has our Janie got? She's got her amazing career, and she's just been offered an amazing offer by the publicist, who was gifted a Bentley, no doubt, by Derek. But at the end of the day, if Janie agrees to go, basically bring her marriage to the public domain by way of, using it as some sort of, marketing resource, that basically Janie will land the position of a lifetime in terms of her career. And ultimately, I get a sense that Janie would have actually rejected that, for Lance's love and for Lance being back in her life. But because she's now perceiving that Lance and Stacey are reconnected, getting back together, going to have a child, and she's absolutely devastated. And she decides, okay, you know what? She turns back up to the table with the publicist and Derek, and she says, when is the date? When are we getting married? So it was like literally left like that last week in terms of the cliffhanger. So this week, guys, we are going to see how the next segment of Better Than Ice Cream rolls out. Are you excited? I am. I'm going to be sitting like this. Oh my gosh! Because week to week, it's so hot, so delicious. There's so many twists and turns, and I think the writing is absolutely phenomenal. So we definitely have to congratulate Diana Copeland for some excellent writing there. But guys, are you ready? Because I certainly am. Let's count it down and go into the next episode of Better Than Ice Cream. Yay!
This is the time. Look into your eyes. I look into your eyes, no longer mine. No, you're no longer mine. The silence will come. In silence will come. This is the night. Now you and this is the
As I lay in bed, I watched streams of rain trail down my bedroom window. I could see Janie's bedroom window from me. It was dark and there was no sign of life for weeks. I wondered where she was, what she was doing. Then I remembered. If I wasn't seeing her face on the side of a bus or a billboard, there was one place I could always find her these days. I took out my phone and I Googled her name. Several interviews popped up. Janie had become the Cardi B of the publishing world.
Janie McMillan is our special guest today. She's talking about being a strong Black woman.
Welcome, everyone. Janie McMillan is here today. She says America could learn a lot from a strong Black woman. She says Black women are like Teflon. They don't break.
Welcome to the Bashira Show. We are delighted to have Janie McMillan here today. She's giving a no-holds-barred take on being a strong Black woman. And audience, we also have a very special treat. Janie is going to give us a glimpse into her fabulous wedding plans to business mogul Derek James.
And on that note, I was out. I was done watching. Who was this imposter and what did she do with Ma Janie? Stacy?
Hey, I'm sorry. I would have called, but
No, it's okay. Get in here. You're soaking wet.
thanks.
Let me go get you a towel. Stacy was beautiful. She had a body that could hypnotize a pastor. She was more than enough for any man. Problem was, she didn't know it.
I was on my way here to talk to your mother until I remembered it was her night for bingo.
Yeah, it's her ritual. She never misses a night out with the girls.
I like that she gets out.
Yeah, me too. Here's your towel. There was a slight pause as she dried off. She stared at me with heat in her eyes, searching for that seed of chemistry between us. Well, as usual, make yourself at home. The remote's over there, and you can turn on the lamp if it's too dark for you. I'll be upstairs.
Lance, why are we acting like buddies? I mean, we're about to have a baby together.
I stared back at her, hoping that what I was going to say would be sufficient. I told you before, I need a minute to process all of this. You're always welcome here, but that still stands. You
Are
understand?
you sure that's all it is? Because something tells me it's about the girl next door.
What part of I need some space do you not
You
get?
don't even want to talk about
What
it?
is there to talk about?
I don't know. Everything?
What are you talking about?
What we're gonna do? How we can fix this? There's lots to talk about.
I sat down on the couch and took a deep breath. Stacy slowly took the seat on the cushion next to me. When we broke up, yes, I reconnected with Janie. But
Reconnected as in slept together?
no, I mean, yes, but it was more than that.
And more
It
as
was.
in you're in love with her?
Just let me finish, Stacy, please.
Okay, fine.
You do know that Janie is not really the problem here, right? We already had problems. I called off our entire wedding. Don't you remember? Do you get this? Us having a baby isn't gonna fix that.
No, it won't. But us having a baby gives us a good reason to fix it.
Stacy readjusted herself on the couch to face me.
Listen, we're having a house built in North Carolina. Can't we just move there and start all over? I mean, my entire future is wrapped up in you.
I understand that, and I'm sorry. I just can't get into this right now.
Baby,
Look, stop,
baby,
Stacy, please.
will you just slow down a second?
Stacy looked defeated, almost desperate. A pang of guilt hit me as she grabbed my hand.
Your mother said you put the baby crib together. Where is it?
Yeah, it's in my room for now. I should have some things moved out soon.
Oh, can I see it? Oh, this is perfect.
Yeah, damn thing took me 8 hours to put together.
I don't doubt it. It looks complicated.
You see this part here?
Mhm.
It's a storage pocket for all the little baby thingies.
Baby thingies.
And watch this, watch this.
Hmm.
This thing right here can be pulled out to become a diaper table.
Wow. Well, look at you. You know more than I do.
Stacy sucked in her breath. Are you okay?
Yes, I think I just felt the baby move.
Wow, this early? Your stomach is still pretty flat, though. Stacy took my hand and placed it on her stomach. Her skin was still damp from the rain, but it was warm. Our faces were just inches apart.
Can you feel that? It's just a flutter, but
I don't feel it. You think I'll be able to feel it soon?
oh yes, of course.
Stacy wrapped her arms around my waist and stared up at me with these doughy eyes.
See, Lance, we can get along if we try. I don't want to lose you.
Just know this. No matter what happens, I'm going to be here for you and our baby. Little Harry.
Harry? Isn't that the name of your childhood dinosaur? Are you kidding
Yeah, I mean,
me?
okay. What about Arnold? Hey, Arnold.
That's awful. What if it's a girl? You know what? Never mind. Leave the names to me. You are not good at this.
As Stacy and I goofed around, my resistance crumbled. I was going to be a father, and I realized I wasn't mad at it.
Hey, Khalid. I just wanted you to know that I made it home from the airport. Oh, it's really coming down out here.
Child, tell me about it. I'm on the highway in it right now, and Uncle Ben is not happy.
Well, I'm going to let you and Uncle Ben focus on that road.
Not before I tell you what a fantastic job you did on Good Morning America and all the other shows. We're getting wonderful feedback.
Oh, thanks, Khalid. This press tour has changed everything for me.
Good. Don't forget about the finale, though. You have a huge press conference tomorrow. Every media outlet you can name will be there. And remember, you are not doing a second book.
I know. I'm not doing a second book.
That's right. You'll start a whole new series about being a Black woman who is tough and resilient. The Teflon Black Woman.
The moment I stepped into the darkness of my bedroom, I could see Lance's well-lit room illuminating back at me.
Janie, you seem distracted. Are you still there?
I was distracted. I was watching Lance with Stacy through my bedroom window. I'm sorry, Khalid. I'm here. Yeah, I'll see you at the press conference. Drive safe.
Okay, bye.
I continued to gaze at them, frozen. It felt wrong to be spying on them, but his hand was on her stomach and there was a baby crib in his room now. They actually look happy. Oh my God.
Janie?
Derek, can you pick me up from my mother's house?
Okay, when?
Now.
What's wrong?
I don't know. Just come get me out of here.
I'm on my way. My eyes sprang open at 6 a.m. At first glance, I thought I was in a stranger's home. I had forgotten Janie was in my bed and I was asleep on the couch. Our coats were staring at me from the end chair. Hers rumbled with mine. Our lives mingled together once again. Last night when she called me, I couldn't get there fast enough. I drove through treacherous weather on fumes of hope. The hope that Janie could love me again. I crept up the stairs and knocked on the door.
Yeah.
Can I come in?
Just a minute. I'm changing.
She said it like I was a stranger, like I hadn't spent every night when we were together learning every crevice of her body. I thought about walking in like I used to. I'd pin her against the wall and kiss her before she even had a chance to speak. But there was none of that now.
Hey.
Hey, good morning. Janie had thrown on my oversized pajamas. The pants' legs dragged under her feet. Her mascara-stained eyes told the story of a woman who hadn't slept all night. Her hair looked like it had a mind of its own. She slowly walked and sat down lifelessly at the dining room table. Are you okay?
I'm fine. Has your mother decided on what color she wants for the wedding?
I'm not sure, but don't you want some input for it? Jenny looked up at me, empty, exhausted, and shrugged her shoulders. I had forgotten how caring and loving she could be. It's become clear to me that she's not marrying me for me. She was marrying my mother. I decided to tell her the truth. Janie, there's something I have to tell you. I can't let you marry me. I'm not the one who wrote that letter.
What?
I wanted you back, but not like this.
Wait a minute. I'm confused.
I thought that somehow telling you that I wrote the letter would erase the pain that I caused you, fix everything between us. I wanted you that bad. But what I want most is to know that you're happy.
So those weren't your words? You never apologized?
Sadly, no. That was Lance's apology.
I see.
But listen, here's mine. I'm sorry, Janie. I'm sorry it took a few messed up things for me to realize you were the only woman I ever needed. Thank you for 2 amazing years. I wish I could have loved you with the same purity that you loved me, like I do now.
Thank you for that.
I guess I have a lot to learn about love, huh?
What you're doing right now sure feels like a lot of love to me. I never had a man who loved me enough to let me go.
Now, isn't this the part where you hop on your horse and go after your prince?
Oh, thanks, but it's too late. I saw him with Stacy from my bedroom window last night. Oh my, Derek, they look so happy. It's clear that they are a real family now, so I think it's just best for me to let things go. I don't want to interfere with a happy home. Derek grabbed my hand and pulled me close. I felt so small in his arms, protected like a child. I released all my emotions into his chest and a floodgate of tears that I hadn't realized I'd been holding in just came out. Derek knew I was crying about another man, yet he never let me go. Turns out, he did know a thing or two about love.
You're going to be fine, Janie. Everything is going to be fine, trust me.
As I cried, I said a final goodbye to Lance as I flipped back the pages of memories we shared in my head.
Derek is a lucky man. I mean, a woman who was as beautiful, smart, can play the hell out of some basketball. Definitely hit the jackpot.
We rode our bikes to the court where I proceeded to dunk on you.
Oh, hell no. I'm sorry. I don't recall that. I absolutely have no recollection.
You cheated.
Nah, you figured.
Man, you had a head start.
Nah.
You were already going and I had to catch up.
Nah, admit it. You just lost.
Wow. Harry the dinosaur? You still have him?
Yeah, he's a little tattered and torn, but he hung in there. Don't judge me.
But it's a whole nother thing going on under these clothes now, brother.
Okay, I see that. I'm getting worried about changes that popped off. Big things popping over here, okay?
Okay. Oh, yeah. The critics tore me a new butthole.
Oh, so that's why it's so perfect. Huh?
Shut up. Good morning.
Good morning. Looks like you slept well.
I did.
Hey, you know I'm your man, right?
Yeah, I do.
And you're my...
And I'm your girl.
Hello and welcome back. Wow, what an episode. Where do we start, guys? I think ultimately we need to look at the fact that Janie is completely heartbroken. She is in deep reflection about her very brief, intimate connection, relationship with Lance. The fact that unexpectedly it's all literally just crumbled. Ultimately, you can see by the way that Janie's reflecting and her level of, I guess, interaction with Derek around the fact that, you know, she clearly believes that it's over, you know. And obviously we can look at what's just happened between Stacey and Derek, and it definitely looks like this is it, you know. Janie and Lance, even though they both love each other, are literally worlds apart. They have so much going on in their personal lives that has just driven them apart. And where does it all go from here? Where could it possibly go from here? I mean, we also have to acknowledge the fact that Derek has finally been man enough to admit that he ultimately only wants Janie to be happy. And he recognizes that Janie is in love with Lance. And so he admits to the fact that the letter was not at his hand. The letter was in fact written by Lance. So that declaration of love, the apology, it was all coming from Lance. However, Derek allowed Janie to believe that it was from him because just like Stacey, by any means necessary, he wants Janie back, just as Stacey wants Lance back. But I think there was quite a moment for both partners of Janie and also Janie and Lance, where they recognize that these people are in love with someone else. You know, Stacey's totally aware that Lance is in love with Janie, as Derek is aware that Janie is in love with Lance. Sort of a bit confusing, isn't it? But that's ultimately what's going on. And you also get a sense of vulnerability, I thought, from Stacey, where, you know, obviously she's pregnant and now she's recognizing that at the end of the day, she wants this relationship to work. with Lance. But Lance is very specific in telling Stacey that ultimately he will be there for her and the baby. He does not make a distinction that he's there for her. He doesn't utter the words "I love you." He doesn't even talk about a marriage. You know, it's very much him owning up and taking on board his responsibility about becoming a father. And he admits to himself that he's quite excited now that it's sunk in that he's actually going to be a dad. So you can kind of see where him and Stacey can kind of literally just drift off into the sunset. They'll have their child and, you know, kind of live happily ever after, right? Because ultimately, you know, Lance is in love with Janie. And then ultimately, when you look at Janie, you know, I mean, her career is completely blown up. She's all over the place, you know, on Google searches, her name comes up and Lance is there, you know, searching out her name. And, you know, she's literally just climbed to the top of her career, which is phenomenal. I think for any woman, especially Black women, which is where you know, this last episode picks up on. It's just phenomenal that she can use her gifts and her talents to propel her forward in her chosen career path. And ultimately, as a female looking, I'm like, more power to you, Janie. You know, concentrate on that which ultimately fulfills you, your purpose. Your purpose fulfills you. It's nothing that can be taken away by anybody else. You literally have the reins in your hand to drive your career forward. So I'm really proud that Janie has put the ice cream tub down and she's decided to move forward with her career. Albeit that, you know, she's still obviously, you know, has intense feelings for Lance. I mean, the fact that she's looking out of her bedroom window and she can clearly see the baby crib in Lance's bedroom. She can see Lance and Stacey's interaction, and it gets so bad for her that she ends up calling Derek and asking Derek to come over and to pick her up from her mum's and to take her back to his place because she just can't deal with what she's actually seeing. So there's this whole kind of interchange between our lead characters, Janie and Lance, where they're reflecting on the fact that they love each other, but also that they're not together and that they're reconciling that they're not together because of the differences that are happening in their life. Obviously with Lance, the fact that Stacey's pregnant, and now with Janie and the reality that she's actually committed herself to marry Derek in a public forum now, which is linked to her career. So there's repercussions there potentially if she pulls out. But I just think looking at this episode, listening to this episode, what I really got present to was, first of all, Stacey's vulnerability, because we don't really see Stacey as vulnerable. We see her as quite hardened, quite determined, quite devious and sly, actually. And in addition to that, obviously with Derek, his recognition that ultimately, you know, Janie is in love with Derek, and he recognizes that, and he's almost willing to let her go back, you know, to Lance, and to let him go and to, you know, put a stop to the marriage. But clearly, you know, Janie makes up her mind and says, no, you know, Lance has made his decision. He's about to be a father and he's reconnected to his ex-partner, and she leaves it there. But she's quite tearful, quite emotional, you know, and I think for Derek, probably monitoring all of that or observing all of that, he must actually feel quite, I guess, taken aback, because he's recognizing that ultimately he loves this woman, but she's in love with another man. So it's really complicated. And I mean, ultimately, I guess moving forward, when we look at relationships, they are super complicated, aren't they? You know, back in the day, it used to be quite simple, where a guy would date a girl or a girl would date a guy, or guys dating guys and girls dating girls. You know, the whole trajectory has changed, and that's all super cool. But what's really important is the level of integrity and that exchange of truth between these two individuals that are making a declaration to be together and be in each other's lives. That is crucial. That kind of fundamental truth should not be compromised. And we can clearly see in this example or this episode where it has been, because we have Janie and we have Lance that are clearly in love with each other. Feelings have been definitely hurt. Communication has been completely misconstrued. It's come off the chart, you know, and it's caused these two individuals that clearly love each other to be worlds apart. Now choosing, different life experiences where, Lance is embracing, as he rightfully should, the fact that he's about to be a father. But does he need to be with Stacey in order to father his child? Of course he doesn't. And ultimately, you can see he's reflecting on that, because he makes it quite clear to Stacey that he'll be there for her and the baby. He does not make a declaration of love, of marriage, of anything moving forward with Stacey as a whole in terms of her becoming his new partner, even though there is this togetherness between them. And that's what I mean about it being so complicated. So guys, woo, where does it go from here? Can you imagine? I've been sitting back thinking, where could it possibly go? Because it's very obvious to me, from the now at least, that Janie and Lance are not going to get back together. How can they get back together? Where? In what reality could they get back together? The fact that Stacey's pregnant, she's clearly in love with Lance. She wants Lance. Lance recognizes his responsibilities as a father, and rightly so. And he's also conscious that Stacey loves him. But does he love her? We'll have to wait and see, right, guys? And then ultimately, Janie is completely head over heels in love with Lance, but she's recognizing that he is now appearing, at least in her world, to be happily settled and ready to enter parenthood with Stacey. And then there's Derek on the outskirts, observing, ready to love Janie the way that he ultimately should have loved her from the beginning. Does he get a second chance to maintain that, relationship moving forward with Janie, or will Janie just literally say no? I'm just going to do me. I'm going to focus on my career. I think if it was me, I'd definitely be like, focusing on the career, focusing on the bag, focusing on the money. The man can come later. But we'll have to see how Diana's written this next segment. So guys, we are going to bid you good day and good night wherever you are in the world, and I look so forward for you joining me next week as we tune into the last and final episode of Better Than Ice Cream. Can you believe it, guys? Our journey for the amazing love audio drama series has literally come to a near end. We have one more episode to go. What will happen to Janie? What will happen to Lance? What happens to Derek? And also what happens to Stacey? You are going to have to tune in. It is so exciting. I really can't wait to see how the final episode pans out. So please do join me next week for the last episode of Better Than Ice Cream. But ultimately, guys, remember that this is streaming. You will be able to see on major multimedia platforms like Apple TV, Android TV, and there's many other network channels that you'll be able to view this on as well. But ultimately, just the engagement on a social media level with the fans of Better Than Ice Cream, for me as a host, has been super amazing. I've really enjoyed all of your questions and your interaction, and I really hope that you'll join me for the last live episode stream of Better Than Ice Cream next week. Thank you so much for joining me. I am Bashira, your host, and I look forward to seeing you next week. Take care now. Bye.